Welcome back to This Week in Torah. We're so incredibly glad that you're here with us today. Now let's dive into Parshas Nasso, this week's Torah portion, and for the trivia crowd, the longest parsha in the Torah, checking in at a whopping 176 verses. Honestly, at first glance, Parshas Nasso doesn't seem especially inspiring. It talks about census numbers, tribal leaders, the duty of the Levites, the Nazir or Nazirite, and long repeated offerings that appear almost identical. In fact, if someone opened this parsha for the first time, they might reasonably ask, why does the Torah spend so much time repeating details? But hidden inside this long and detailed parsha is one of the Torah's most radical ideas. Every human being possesses irreducible dignity. The parsha begins with counting people, but in Judaism, counting is never supposed to raise individuality. The Torah does not count people because people are numbers. The Torah counts people because people matter. The parsha opens with God telling Moses to Nasso rosh, lift up the head of the people. Not merely count them, lift them up, recognize their worth. A census in the Torah is not administrative, it is moral, it is spiritual. It is the Torah's way of saying, no person is invisible. And that message feels urgently relevant today. We live in a world where many people feel unseen. People are connected constantly, yet feel profoundly alone. Many people quietly wonder, would anyone notice if I disappeared? Do I actually matter? Am I valued beyond what I produce? And this week the Torah answers with extraordinary clarity. Yes, you matter because you are human, because you were created in the image of God. Not because of your status, not because of your wealth, not because of your followers, not because of your resume. One of the most famous sections in the entire parsha is the priestly blessing. May God bless you and protect you. May God shine his face upon you and be gracious to you. May God lift his face toward you and grant you peace. What is remarkable is that the blessing is written in the singular, not plural. The Torah speaks to each person personally, because blessing is never generic. God does not relate to humanity as a faceless mass. The Torah recognizes the individual, the struggling person, the lonely person, the anxious person, the overlooked person, person trying to hold themselves together while appearing fine on the outside. The Rav, Rabbi Joseph Soloveitchik, taught that modern society often measures human worth through achievement, utility, and success. How productive are you? How accomplished are you? How impressive are you? But Torah teaches us something deeper. Human dignity exists before achievement. A person possesses value not only because of what they accomplish, but because they stand in covenant with God and carry divine image within them. And that changes the way we see other people too. People are not merely tools, not obstacles, not background characters in our personal story. Every person carries a world inside them. That idea appears again later in the parsha through the Nazir, or Nazirite. The Nazir voluntarily limits certain physical pleasures in pursuit of spiritual growth. Now, Judaism does not generally celebrate isolation from the world. The Torah is not asking us to reject physical life. It asks us to elevate physical life. But the Nazir teaches us something that feels deeply modern. Freedom is not the ability to indulge every impulse. Freedom is the ability to govern oneself. And in a culture built on constant distraction, endless consumption, and immediate gratification, self-mastery becomes a sacred act. Sometimes holiness begins with the ability to say, I do not need to chase every urge. I do not need to live reactively. I can slow down. I can choose who I become. Later in the parsha, the leaders of the 12 tribes each bring offerings to dedicate the Mishkan. And then something unusual happens. The Torah repeats every single offering separately in full detail, even though the offerings are identical. From a modern writing perspective, this feels unnecessary. The Torah could have simply written, and each leader brought the same offering. But it is not. The Chassan Sofer explains that although the offerings looked identically externally, internally each offering was unique. Each leader brought different intentions, different emotions, different experiences, different spiritual worlds. And therefore the Torah gives each one separate recognition. That idea is incredibly powerful, because externally, human beings often appear similar. People go to work, raise families, pay bills, smile politely, move through routines. But internally, every human being is carrying a different story. Some are carrying grief, some are carrying loneliness, some are carrying fear, some are carrying burdens nobody else can see. And the Torah insists that individuality must never be erased. Every person matters independently. Every soul matters independently. Every offering matters independently. And perhaps that is one of the great spiritual challenges of modern life. We constantly compare ourselves to others, their success, their relationships, their parents, their happiness, their achievements. But Parshas Nasso reminds us, you're not here to become somebody else. You are here to bring your unique offering into the world. Your kindness, your wisdom, your perseverance, your compassion, your voice. And maybe this is why the Parsha repeatedly speaks in the language of lifting people up. Because one of the holiest things that a person can do is restore dignity to another human being. To notice someone, to listen fully, to speak gently, to encourage sincerely, to make another person feel seen. Not every act of holiness requires grandeur. Sometimes holiness sounds like, how are you really doing? I'm glad you're here. You matter. So the practical message of Parshas Nasso is profoundly simple. Lift people up. Your family, your friends, your community, the people others overlook. And remember to extend that same compassion to yourself as well. Because the Torah this week teaches that human dignity is not earned through applause. It is woven into the very creation of the human soul. In a world obsessed with being noticed, Parshas Nasso reminds us that holiness begins when we notice others. Shabbat Shalom.